Oh, hi there. This is Don Jarrett. I've got a little project we're working on here tonight. These are fine young. These are squab. This means it's a pigeon. It's been raised to just about the flight age, so it's a tender, small bird. These were provided by Equus Oaks Farms, our friends Lane and Ricky Leinenkall. Right there. Hello. Alright, six beautiful birds, all a little bit less than a pound apiece. We're using a very classic preparation tonight, real simple stuff. Just going to rub the birds in and out with salt. We're going to use apples, onions, and fresh sage here to stuff the birds and add a little bit of moisture. Make sure they stay moist while they're cooking. They will self-baste because of the way squab fat is. It lays in under the skin. It's kind of baby fat, so it melts into the body of the piece. And you can see the small thighs, how small they are. I mean, this is just going to be really tender stuff. And there's all that beautiful baby fat that squab is famous for. It's actually quite a lean bird once it cooks out. So I'm going to put in, as much as they were whole, these body cavities are very small, so it's hard to fit a full apple into them, but it keeps them juicy. Simple. And a sliver of Vidalia onion, so that the sweetness of the apple and the sweetness of the onion are complementary to each other. Also keeps the, like I said, helps keep the bird moist. I'm just pushing a little bit of sage into the body cavity. I'm hoping that the delicate squab flavor won't be too overdone by the sage, but sage goes so good with this apples and onion combination, I just couldn't resist trying it. And we have just tons of sage growing around here right now. And I'm just going to put the extra onion in around. Under the birds. It'll cook into the juice, and if I have a moment to baste somewhere along the way, this will help with the overall flavor of the gravy. A lot of times when I'm doing something on the grill, I'll just put everything on a bed of onions to protect it, but with the oven just of baking, I don't have to worry about that so much. There we go. Well, I'm just adding in little odd chunks of wood, scraps of old projects we've done around here. Getting the fire started, the flames up quite a bit when it starts, but then because I'm using wood, if you're using charcoal, it never comes out of the firebox. But there's a lot of off-gassing that comes with just raw wood that's usually gone by the time something has actually reached charcoal stage. Starting this thing is really, really easy. I just put a little wad of paper we had left from the office here down in the bottom, and a cardboard box for an ink cartridge. Then threw a couple pieces of very small pieces of 2x2 and other pine on it. And I started the fire with pine because pine ignites easy and burns hot, but we'll move into chunks of oak here real quickly. The oven compartment is actually separate from this firebox. There's no connection inside so that smoke or anything gets inside the oven. There's no connection, just a very hot firebox back there. Now, it doesn't take very long to preheat. In fact, right now it's already hot enough to put the squab in. Now we're going to put them in on the bottom shelf because we're going to reserve the top shelf for the dinner rolls that are going with this dinner. So we're going to make dinner rolls in a little bit and go from there. You notice I'm handling the parts of the oven that are out here. These things do tend to remain cool if you use it. I always try to assume that it's hot, but I've been handling it. I was asked a good question a little bit ago about this oven. Now I'm using it, you saw the interior, I'm using it and there is no thermometer inside. I don't use a thermometer in this. Over the time that I've used it, I've realized that if you keep a certain type of fire burning in the back of it, it's going to run about anywhere from 350 to 375 degrees pretty much steadily. Anything higher than 400 is actually hard to maintain because there's a lot of heat coming off the firebox at that point, and you tend to have to turn things regularly or they'll really brown on you. Now Corey made bread dough for the dinner rolls inside earlier. Bread machines are wonderful for making bread dough in. They do the first rise and all the important stuff. And there we have it. Okay. So in this particular case, I'm going to make big pull-apart rolls using these crumpet rings. This is the kind of thing we use for crumpets, which is crumpets are actually a yeast-based batter type dough. This is set on a griddle, and then you fill it with a little bit of the crumpet batter, and it rises up halfway through and cooks from the bottom on a low heat, if I remember correctly. So it just browns a little bit, but cooks all the way through. That's why crumpets look the way they do. They're cooked on one side, and then the bubbles open at the top, kind of like if you didn't flip a pancake when it opens on the top like that. Right. I'm just going to throw these. There's a cloverleaf dinner roll, and I wanted to kind of make a big version of them. And this is it right here. Now I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil. This is an herb-infused olive oil from a local importer, and what I'm going to do is treat these with the little bit of the olive oil, rub it over them so that they're nice and rich and they don't stick as much to each other when they go into the pan. It'll also have a nice herbal infusion, and we can smell it already coming out of these. So just drop these three in here and they will rise together in that spot. Then these are all done. I'm going to set them under the oven here where it's a little bit warm but not really hot, so that they'll rise along with the chicken. They'll only take maybe 15-20 minutes to cook up at the end, if that. So they'll just rise for the time that the squab is cooking. I wanted to talk a little bit about the vegetables. Lane Linencall, come over here, Lane, if you would, please. Just come over here. Okay. What kind of beets are these? These are not normal round beets.
Nope, that's a cylindrica beet.
Cylindrica?
Cylindrica beet.
Cylindrica beet.
And it's just a variety of a regular beet. Obviously noted for its long and narrow. What we like about them is we can plant them closer together and grow more beet in a smaller.
So it's one of those small, big produce for small farms kind of an idea.
Yes, it's an heirloom variety.
And it's an heirloom variety too. Now, tell me about these. These are wonderful little zucchini squash. What did you call them? These are what do you call them, Italian?
It's an Italian variety. Costata romanesca is the variety of zucchini that is. It's also an heirloom variety.
Right.
What's particularly remarkable about this is that it's a very sweet flavored zucchini, but it keeps its tenderness if it gets large. If the fruit gets large,
these things are exceptional. I mean, even just like slices raw. I've actually never had zucchini that tasted like this. Tasted so good, just raw. Now this is just a standard crookneck yellow squash.
It's just
a summer squash.
Exactly right.
Is this an heirloom breed as well? They're just kind of timeless.
It probably is, but I can't remember the name.
If you know there's going to be a quiz, you to study it.
Exactly.
All right. So we just wanted to note that. We got these beet peelings and things that we're generating here. We compost everything here. I love beet greens. I just adore beet greens. But these are organic, late in the season beet greens, and the bugs have had their way with them, and they're starting to die back a little bit. So they weren't quite prime enough for really good beet greens. So we're composting everything today. Unfortunately, I missed my chance. The season has run its course here in late August for really prime beet greens. Now this side was closest to the oven. The side that's farthest away is closest to the firebox, so it does need to be turned to make sure that everything cooks evenly. Let's put that on. Now I just added wood to this, just little chunks like this. This has got a nail in it from the pallet that it came out of. It's just pallet oak. This stuff can be treated with creosote, whatever. It doesn't matter because you're not cooking anything like grilling or cooking over a campfire where the smoke comes directly in contact with the food. It doesn't matter. This is all about just BTUs, and that's it. I'm just going to set that on there, and once that starts to boil, I'm going to move it up here so it gets indirect heat and just sits and simmers. What I'm going to do is just cut these into thick slices. I don't really want to do them too thin because this zucchini is very tender, and so is the summer squash. So if you cut it too thin, it just turns into mush. I want to keep some of that wonderful texture, and this stuff is really good all by itself. Raw, it's wonderful stuff. It's you notice it's light green, different from a lot of the common zucchinis that you see. And comparing the two of them that we've had this summer, the skin is completely tender, very different from other types of zucchini. It's wonderful stuff. I'm going to take the two younger ones because I know they're going to be very tender. Now with these, I'm going to leave the necks kind of big. It's only been on here for a few minutes. I brought over there's a big piece of iron. It's an old, it's a tent stake, and I'm using it to give a little bit of space between the top of the firebox and the bottom of the pan, so it still has a draft and it's still going. But you can see it heated up beautifully. It's already going. I'm going to have to put a lid on it so it can simmer here. In this oven, this top surface is still kind of hot. the oven stays at 350, so you could assume that the metal that's in contact with it that isn't up here where it can be a little cooler is at 350 as well, or close to it, probably around 300. Certainly enough to simmer water. These haven't been brought to a boil yet because I wanted the beets to get the squash to get up so it can get up here, and then set this down to cook there. And once they're both up to a boiling temperature, as you can see this one is, they'll come up here and sit for the remainder of their cooking time. So, all right. Now I'm going to baste these a little bit just to make sure everything stays juicy. I think I might have started these with the breast down if I did them again, just to enhance that juiciness. There's plenty of juice in around the bottom here, so they're going to have this nice oniony, sage, juicy thing going on. Now earlier I was asked about this thing, the way it operates, and we often have it on the ground when we're using it, but for the filming today we wanted it up a little bit, so we put it on this table. Now this table is just wood, and we're catching the ashes that come out of the firebox in this pan here, okay? This old cast iron pan, and just a few ashes falling down in there. The table is warm but not hot, and as long as there's a nice fireproof or heat-proof container catching everything, you should be fine. Now the pan down here does get a little warm, and I can see we're going to have to shift our rolls around. They're rising very nicely. It's time to set the rolls in. 2 sheets. Now they're done this way so that I can rotate them not only around, but I can rotate them front to back in all directions so that they brown well. I've had it at baking temperature about 350, 360 degrees. These need to be at 375 for 20 minutes. So I'm going to put in this piece of pine, which is going to burn hot. It's going to burn for a good little bit of time and get that oven temperature up. So I just had it open to baste the squab and to put the rolls in. So this should get us up to operating temperature, and that should be all it requires. That should carry us through. That should carry us through most of the 20-minute period.
Go.
All right. We're at the end here. It's time for the squab to come out. There we go. All brown. So and that's the squab right there, and then the rolls will be out in just a few seconds. They still have to brown up. Okay. This is it. The squab's all done, perfectly golden. The rolls came out really good for us. Right here we have the beets and the squash all hot and steamy. Just perfectly done. It's a late supper feast for 6 tonight. And everybody's waiting inside, so we'll get this all indoors. Thanks for watching. If you have questions about anything we've done here, would like to get a hold of one of these ovens for your own use, please contact me. My name's Don Jarrett. I'm the president of Dorje Incorporated. You can reach us through the Dorje home site. Call us at 800-682-4950, or you can email me privately at tinman200@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Ricky Linenkohl of Equus Oaks Farms. Don here is cooking our squab on his wonderfully handmade biomass oven. If you'd like to try our squab, you can get a hold of us at Equus Oaks Farms, all one word, @gmail.com. That's EQUUSOAKS, farms@gmail.com, and purchase some squab from us. Or you can call us at 815-679-7596. Thanks.